Good morning, everyone. I hope you all safe and doing well. Lalo na ngayong meron tayong Baguio. Originally, face-to-face na itong presentation namin. Pero dahil nga sa weather situation, we had to shift online everyone's difficulty. Despite the change in setup, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your time and presence. Ngayong umaga kami naman po ay huling magpe-present na this week and we're genuinely excited to share with you a topic that's not only irrelevant but also a super useful in many fields today. Data processing and visualization. So in this presentation, we will walk you through what the data processing and visualization really mean and how they are done using tools like Python, Jupyter Notebook, NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. And why these matter in real-world applications, the real research, business analytics, and even machine learning. And kung kayo ay mga nagbabalak na pumasok sa data analytics or tech, we hope na in this session help you understand how your professionals think, work, and analyze data. Sana'y makatulong ito sa pagbuo ng career path ninyo in the future. So ngayon, ipapakilala ko muna sa inyo ang aking makakasama sa pag-present ng data processing at si Miss Kapilitan, Miss Nyones, Miss Raquem, Miss Victorio, and myself, Villarta. But before we begin, a quick reminder lang na here is our online policy that I hope na nakaset up na rin yung mga background ninyo, and also let's stay focused, respectful, and I open to learning and we get the most out of today's session. And with that, let's officially begin. Start off, I will call on Miss Carol Victorio for the next presentation.
Hello everyone. My name is Kalumi Victoria, and today we're going to be tackling about Jupyter Notebook and introduction to NumPy. But first, let's start off with defining Jupyter Notebook. So what is Jupyter Notebook? Jupyter Notebook, in simple terms, it is like a digital notebook where you can write down your code, write down your text, and then show visualizations using notebook. So you can use this for data science, for machine learning, for documentation, research, and so on and so forth. So for today's lesson, we are going to use an interactive Python notebook. So to be able to run this in your Visual Studio Code, just follow these steps. First is you're going to install your Jupyter extension. Then you're going to create and activate your virtual environment. Next is you're going to install your IPY kernel package, since this will help us to run our Python code into our notebook, and then open your file, and then last but not the least is you're going to select your interpreter or your kernel. Now, let us move on to NumPy. So what is a NumPy? NumPy stands for Numerical Python. It is a Python library that can be used for data science, for machine learning, for scientific calculations, and so on and so forth. So to install NumPy, you can just simply type this into your terminal, pip install NumPy. So, why use NumPy? ND arrays are faster than Python lists. It supports vectorized operations, meaning you don't have to use for loops to create and access each an element in your arrays. It supports broadcasting, meaning you can apply operations with different arrays of shapes. It is memory efficient. It has powerful built-in functions that can be used for calculations, and it is compatible with other libraries such as the Matplotlib, the Pandas, and OpenCVs. So here is an example code of doing power operations over 1 million values. So since we are using Python list, we are going to use for loops to access each elements one by one and apply the operations one by one, which is really time consuming. But if you compare it to this code, using NumPy, since we use vectorized operations, meaning we can just apply the operations on the entire arrays as a whole without using for loops. And if niran nyo na siya, mapapansin nyo na mas mabilis yung NumPy kesa sa ND arrays. So what is an ND array? An ND array is a multidimensional array that can have up to 64 dimensions. It is a homogeneous type, meaning in each of your array magkakasame lang siya ng data type. And that is one of the reasons why ND arrays are faster than Python lists. So to create a NumPy array, just use this array function and then inside your parameters is your list or array. And so for example dito sa code na to, I just added the type function just to show you guys that the array is an ND array. Next is creating constant arrays. So if you want your arrays to have constant values of zeros or constant values of ones, then you can use either of this function. And then inside your parameters is your array variable. So bali dito sa code na nilagay ko, naglalagay ako ng dot shape para hindi lang mabago yung dimension ng akin original array. Next is creating a range of numbers. So if you want to generate numeric sequences, then you can use the syntax arrange function. Tapos nasa loob niya yung start kung saan magsa-start yung value mo, saan magsa-stop, and then yung step which is yung incrementation each time. So pag nayan nyo tong code na to, mag-increment siya to 2 each time. So maging output niya is 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. Next is changing the shape of an array. So if you want to change the dimension of your array, then you can use this reshape function. Tapos yung syntax niya is yung rows and then yung columns. But just take note na pwede ka lang mag-reshape ng original array mo if minultiply mo yung rows and columns mo and then pag equal siya dun sa number of elements mo doon sa original array, pwede lang siya ma-reshape. Like for example, for this code, since ang rows and columns ko is 2 and 3, pag minultiply mo siya, magiging 6. Since my original array has 6 elements, mag-reshape siya and this will be the output niya. Next is accessing elements in NumPy. So similar to sa pag-access ng elements dito sa Python list. Ang maganda lang dito sa NumPy is that you don't have to use nested brackets pag mag-access ka ng elements ng 2D arrays and above. Bale, gagamit ka lang ng kahit isang bracket tapos ihiwalay mo lang yung rows and columns using a comma. And for this example below, this one, I want to access the row 1 and then column 2, which is this one yung 6. So, pag nirun nyo, magiging 6 yung output. Next is joining arrays. So if you want to combine 2 or more arrays, then you can just use this concatenate function and then inside your parameters are the arrays that you want to combine. So for example, dito sa code na to, I want to combine the array 1 and then array 2. So pag nilagay ko siya dun sa parameters and use the concatenate function, pag print mo na siya, nasa isang array na lang siya. Next is sorting arrays. So if you want to sort your arrays in ascending order, then you can just use this sorting function. Ilalagay mo lang sa parameters niya is yung array variable mo. So hindi ko siya nasama dito sa PPT, but if you want to sort your arrays in descending order, then you can just add a bracket near the array function, tapos maglalagay ka lang ng 2 columns and then -1. That I am. Yeah. Next is removing a specific element. So if you want to remove a specific element in your array, then you can just use this delete function. And then inside your parameters is your array variable and then yung index number ng gusto mong tanggalin. Like for example, dito sa code na to, I want to remove the element na nasa index 1, which is yung 20. Kaya pag nirun nyo tong code, magiging output niya is 10, 30, and 40. Next is moving a column in a 2D, sim lang siya ng syntax, gagamit ka lang ng delete function and then inside your parameters is yung array variable mo, yung index number, and yung axis. So, ang pinagkaiba lang nila is yung value sa axis. If yung axis mo is equal to 1, it means you're going to access a column. And then if your axis is equal to 0, and then means you're going to access a row. Next naman is broadcasting. So, yung values na tapos ito namang scalar value na to is inside a value na b. So if you run this in Python, in ordinary Python, hindi siya mag-work, but using NumPy broadcasting, gagana siya by stretching out the smallest array, which is yung 4, and then until mag-match siya doon sa shape ng isang array, which is yung A natin, for example. So, magiging 1 plus 4, 2 plus 4, and then 3 plus 4 na siya. And pag in-add yun na siya, magiging 5, 6, 7 na yung output. But of course, broadcasting, hindi siya gumagana basta-basta. Meron din siya mga limitations. And it will only work if yung arrays mo have the same dimensions or one of them is scalar. Like for example, dun sa code natin a while ago. And for this code naman na to, we use broadcasting by broadcasting the values 10, 20, and 30 doon sa values na 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. So pag in-apply mo na yung addition, maging output niya is ito na po. Next naman is the basic operations in NumPy. First is yung arithmetic operations. Ito yung mga addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So, ina-apply itong operations element by element. Or for example, dito sa code na to, pinapair natin yung 1 and 4, 2 and 5, and 3 and 6 since same sila ng index. So, pag in-apply nyo na yung arithmetic operations, ito na po yung magiging output niya. Next is the comparison and logical operations. Yung comparison operators, ito yung mga equals, not equals, greater than, less than, and yun. So, ginagamit ito if you want to compare the elements. And for this example ko na to, using the comparison, I use the less than. So, bale, magto-true lang yung value if less than siya sa 35, which is yung values na 20 and 30. So, pag niran yung output, magiging true, true, tapos the rest is going to false. Next naman is yung logical operations. Ginagamit yung logical operations if you want to combine multiple conditions. So, some of the functions ng logical operations, ito yung mga logical and logical or and logical not. And for this example code naman here, I use the logical and, meaning magtutrue lang yung value if both ng condition is magtutrue. So, for example, dito, array is greater than 1 and array is less than 5. And yung values na pumasok sa dalawang condition na yon is yung values na 2, 3, and 4. So, pag niran nyo itong output, magiging false, true, 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 and false. Next is the matrix multiplication. You use matrix multiplication if you want to multiply two matrices. So you can either use the at symbol or the dot function, whatever works out for you. So, different siya sa arithmetic operations kasi sa matrix multiplication, hindi siya element by element, rather rows by column siya. So magiging row 0 times column 0, row 0 times column 1, row 1 times column 0, tapos row 1 times column 1. So pag niran niyo tong output na to, ay yung code na to, ito na po yung magiging output niya. And last but not the least is yung in-place operations. Yung in-place operations, ginagamit siya if ayaw mo nang gumawa ng another variable and if gusto mo sa isahang line ka na lang mag-ooperate ng functions. And some of the in-place operators, ito yung mga addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and yung modulus. And for this example code right here, ginawa natin is binodcast natin yung 5 doon sa values na 1, 2, and 3, and then in-apply natin yung addition na in-place operator. So, pag ni-run nyo na yung code, magiging 6, 7, and 8 na po yung output. And that is it for my part. Now, I would like to call Annie Rose Rakem to explain her next part.
So, hello everyone. So, thank you, Miss Caleb, for introducing NumPy to us. Now, let's proceed to the most power tool in data analysis using Python, which is the Pandas. Now, Pandas is built on top of NumPy, meaning it is being developed using NumPy as its foundation. But as we discussed earlier, it is mainly deals with numerical arrays, which is ideal for mathematical computations. On the other hand naman, yung Pandas is designed for data analysis and manipulation. Kumbaga, Pandas is more on user-friendly because it is dealing with real-world data and it has a two main structure, which is series and data plane. So as I said, Pandas offers fast and powerful tools for reading, writing, filtering, and of course, transforming data. So to install Pandas, just open your terminal or command prompt and just simply type pip install Pandas. Now, the data handling in Pandas has two main structure, which is yung nga, yung series and yung data frame. So in series, it is like a single list of values with labels or what we call the index. While on the data frame naman, it is like a whole table made up of multiple series as columns. So basically, if maraming series na parang mga column ng data, and they all share the same index like the 0, 1, 2, Pandas will automatically combines them side by side. And as a result, since align yung index nila, nabubuo yung rows na magkakatapat ang values. And that's how we get a data. Now, here is a sample code. The first thing to do is import the library, which is yun nga yung pandas and alias PT. So just simply type pd.series and then the values you want to create. Here we have 10, 20, 30. Now to create the labels naman, just put an index equal to the labels. Here we have A, B, C. So it's isang list pero may labels or index. On the data frame naman, same as series, which is you need to import the library, which is the pandas nga, and just simply type pd.data frame. But here, as you can see, it is a two-dimensional array. It's here naka-tabular form na siya. And as you run this code, the output is this. We can see three columns, which is the name, math, and science. And each column is actually a series under the hood. And they are combined together to form a whole table. Now, in data processing flow, there's always a logical flow we follow. Of course, we need to prepare, understand, and structure the data first. Proceed in load data. This is the first step where you are importing a data set into your working environment. Next, we inspect the data. This means reviewing the data set structures and content to understand what kind of data you're working with you. You will know here the columns, the rows, the types, and the possible issues. Now, after that, after observing the data, then this involves handling missing values, removing duplicates, and fixing inconsistency to so that the data are reliable for our next step, which is the analyze data. Once it is clean, you can now analyze or manipulate the data based on your goals. You might compute statistics, group data, or look for patterns that answer specific questions. After that, visualize your analysis with tools like Matplotlib. You can create a plot and graphs that help you see trends and make your results easier to understand. Now, next is to interpret your results. Finally, you interpret the results. This is where you draw conclusions from your visualizations and analysis. Di ako rinig? Okay. Now, before we do that flow, of course, we need to get a data first. So let's go back to the basic. What is a data set? Data set is a structured collection of data. In data analysis, it is typically presented in tabular form. Or ito, meron siyang rows or what we call the records, columns, which is the variables. And ang example nito sa real world data is yung mga student scores, sales transactions, and the survey responses. Now, in Pandas, it is supporting different file methods such as CSV, Excel, JSON, SQL, and HTML tables. Now, to import a file from your environment, just simply type df. Df means data frame, which is a common use in data analysis world, so that we can call the function earlier is in easier way. So df equals pd.read underscore your file chosen and the file path. Now to export it naman, just simply type df.to underscore the file chosen and the file path, and just include index equals to 4 so that the row numbers from the saved file is excluded. Now, in data analysis work, there is what we call Kaggle. It is a website. It is an online community and platform for anyone who is into data science and machine learning. Here, makaka-access ka ng thousands of datasets across various subjects, and that can be used for analysis and experimentation. You can also run a code here because it is a cloud-based environments like Python to clean, analyze, visualize, and model data. And of course, you can enhance your skills here by participating in machine learning challenges. So to visit this site, just click this link and register. Now, in accessing datasets from Kaggle, just simply visit this site. So as you can see here, so kung binisit nyo na yung site na yon, makikita nyo tong site, sa side navigation, which is merong datasets. Pag clinic nyo yan, makakakita na kayo ng maraming datasets. So, but in our case, we are going to use this student performance score. Ayan. So, kung gusto nyo i-download yung dataset or yung file nito, you can just simply click this download button and just download it manually. Pero if you want to download it via URL, just pip install Kaggle Hub, which is a library also in Python. Analyst, and you're given a raw data set about students' exam performance. But there's a catch. The data set is messy, it has missing values, maybe some duplicates, or maybe inconsistent yung entries niya. Now, our objective is to clean and make sense of the data. Then, of course, we uncover valuable insights. And the requirement for this analysis, of course, is to clean the data set, compute descriptive statistics for exam scores, identify honor students by gender, check pass or fail rates by ethnicity, analyze average scores based on test preparation, and the last one is to show correlation matrix of exam scores. Now, the first thing we need to do is, of course, we need to import the file first in your project directory so that we can easier call it later on. So here, ayan. So here na-import na namin yung dataset na hindi unclean yung data. So after that, you need to set up your notebook. Ayan. Now, it is a good practice to add a markdown cell and start to write title, your name, the date, and a short description of the dataset and what this report is for. So this helps readers or even your future self quickly understand what the notebook is about. So to import the dataset, we need to import the libraries first na gagamitin natin mamaya, which is the NumPy, Pandas, and the Matplotlib. Now to import it, use this syntax. df equals to pd.read underscore csv and the file path natin. Ayan. Now, in inspecting data, there is different or common syntax that we can use to inspect it. Ayan. So, to show the dimensions or the rows and columns, just simply type df.shape. To show all data naman, just simply type df. And Pandas is, it is not supported na i-load lahat ng data. That's why meron tayong syntax na df.head, which shows the first 5 rows. Next is to show naman yung last 5 rows, you can use df.tail. Now, to list all column names naman, just use df.columns. And to overview the columns types or nulls, just use df.info. Now, if you want to identify the missing values per column, just use df.isNull.sum. And to count up duplicate rows, you can use df.duplicated.sum. Now, if you want to know the number of unique values per column, just use df.nonunique. And lastly, you can use the df, the column name, dot value underscore counts, which get the frequency of each value in a column. So as you can see here in our VS Code, ayan, as you run this code, yung mga syntax kanina, magiging output nito is yung Okay, let's read the library first. Ayan. After reading the library, you need to read the data. And kapag na-read na yung data, pwede mo na siyang i-inspect. Which is, ito yung mga common syntax kanina. Ayan. df.head, lalabas lang yung 5 rows. And yung last 5 rows naman, lalabas yung huling rows ng dataset natin. And if you want a specific rows na gusto mo makita, just simply type number inside the parentheses. Ayan nga, makikita natin 10 na yung nilalabas niyang rows. And if you want to show the last 10 rows, just simply type df.tail and the number you want. And for the continuation of our analysis, may I call on Mr. Kit Bellarta so that he will explain our data and he will clean it.
Narinig ba? Before tayo mag-proceed sa demo, I have a quick lecture lang muna. So as I demonstrated earlier, you already saw how we can interact with the data using Python tools. This time, I will walk you through the two key steps behind the process, data manipulation and analysis. So data manipulation, this is a process of cleaning, changing, rearranging, and preparing data so that it's ready for the analysis. Bakit nga ito yung mahalaga? Kasi most of the time, hindi perfect ang data na nakukuha natin. May kulang, may duplicate, or minsan hindi siya consistent ang format. So bago natin may analyze ang data, kailangan muna natin itong iayos para maging reliable ang results natin. So ang data analysis naman is once the data is clean and organized, dito naman papasok ang analysis. This involves using statistics or logical operations to extract insights basically para mas maintindihan nga natin kung ano ang sinasabi ng data. Ang example here yung gaano kataas ang average ng score, ilan ang pumasa, anong pattern ang lumalabas. To sum up, the data manipulation is about preparing your data, while data analysis is about understanding your data, and both are essential steps in the data workflow. So now let's move on to one of the most important steps in the data analysis process, which is the data cleaning. So what is the data cleaning? Basically, is the process of fixing or removing data that is inaccurate, incomplete, or irrelevant. Before we can analyze anything, kailangan muna natin i-prepare ang data para maging accurate at meaningful ang results. This includes fixing errors, removing duplicates, and filling the missing values. And why is it important nga? Kapag madumi na ang data, pwedeng mali o misleading ang analysis. Kaya importante ang data cleaning dahil to prevent misleading visualization, improves data accuracy and integrity, makes the data easier to read and understand. And most importantly, it helps us to trust and results. So paano nga natin malalaman kung clean na ang data? Here are some indicators of clean data sets. Wala na siyang missing consistent values, naalis na ang duplicate records, tama na ang data types, wala nang irrelevant or sobrang information, and lastly, properly handled na siya ng mga outliers or extreme values. And on the right side naman, we have the example of the unclean data. And as you can see, may mga values na nawawala, like yung blanks or yung none, which is yung NaN. May mga inconsistent formatting at may mga data na hindi standard. Later on, ipapakita ko sa demo kung paano nga natin ito lilinisin using the Python tools at like pandas. So, ito yung data manipulation analysis na syntax na maaari magamit, which is sa pag-manipulate, sa pag-analyze. We have the action and description. We have the rename column, drop missing values, fill missing values, create new column, filter rows, sort rows, and select columns. And we have the change data type, drop column, count values, select specific data, which is yung lock, and then subset by index, which is yung iLock, and group analysis and summary statistics. And if you all guys want to enhance your skills, ito yung mga few resources na maaari nyo magamit para kahit paano is masundan nyo kami sa mga susunod na gagawin namin sa demo. So let's proceed na sa ating demo. So, itong analysis na 'to is na-discuss na siya ng intro ni Miss Annie. Papalalimin natin siya for today's. So, about the dataset is designed for the how to explore the different factor such as gender, ethnicity, and parental education, lunch type, and test preparation influence students' academic performance. So, the first thing na ginawa niya is nag-import siya ng libraries, which is yung import NumPy, import Pandas, and import Matplotlib. Ay, para saan nga pang import NumPy? Yung import NumPy is for the array operations siya. However, yung Pandas naman for the to manage and explore the tabular data, and the Matplotlib naman is for the visual siya and the visual and charts. So, nag-read ng data dahil ng raw data, and then nag-inspect DF shape, and as you can see, we have the 1,008 columns. And to view all data, use the DF. And if you want to see the first 5 rows, use the head. And then sa last row naman, and then kapag once na gusto mo mag exact ng parameter or makita mismo is use exact number ka lang sa parameter. And then for initial data inspection naman, for the DF columns, we have the gender, ethnicity, and level of education, lunch, and preparation course, math score, reading score, and writing score. And for the DF info naman, ito yung dinisplay natin data frame information. And as you can see, itong information na to is inaccurate pa siya or hindi pa siya buo. I mean, sa desk preparation course, we have the 4 missing values na kailangan natin siyang ayusin later on sa data cleaning. And for the DF is na point sum naman is para ma-check natin yung mga missing values in each column. And as you can see, we have the 4 missing values at test preparation course. And for the duplicate naman, to check it, walang na-duplicate. And for the ununique naman, count unique values in each column. And for the test preparation score, value counts, ito yung ginamit natin para ma-count natin yung mga occurrences of each unique values in column. And for the observation nga dito sa inspect, we have the data set contains 1,000 rows and 8 columns. Meron tayong 5 columns are of object, and type and 3 are in64, which is in numerical, and memory usage is approximately 62.6 KB. And yung data quality issues naman, yung column names are inconsistent na, ay capitalization and spacing, like yung gender, writing score, and yung ethnicity. And the column test preparation course has the 4 missing values, and the values in test preparation course are inconsistent, and some are written completed na caps lock, and the lowercase na completed, none, zero, and even the empty none. So let's proceed na to how to data clean, how to clean na natin ang ating need natin raw data. And sa DF column naman, inano natin ito para sa DF column, point str, point strip naman to remove the leading trailing spaces. Point str lower naman to lower all cases. And the str replace, which is no empty, gagawin natin replace with the underscore, same with the slash, which is ito yung optional para nga mas maging maayos siya at mas maging reliable siya. And as you can see, dito sa may nag-DF info tayo, and nakita natin yung kakalabasan niya. And yung lahat nag-lowercase na, but yung test preparation scores is may 4 missing values pa rin. And then yung sa writing score, wala pa siyang underscore. That's why we need to rename it para mas maging consistent siya at mas maging maayos siya tignan. So how to rename it nga? Rename inconsistent column, name the writing score to writing underscore score. Need nyo lang mag-DF rename and in place true. And kapag nag-DF info na kayo, and as you can see, nagbago na yung writing underscore. Tapos yung desk preparation scores is ganun pa rin. Meron pa rin siyang 4 missing values. And sa count unit values naman,
para makita lang natin lahat ng values na nakikita sa data rows, which is yung none, lowercase na completed, and yung missing values meron tayong 4, and yung 0 na missing place siya, and then yung completed na caps lock, which is merong 2. So how to fix it nga? The fix inconsistent and missing values in test description course. The DF description course, and as type the str, and then the point str strip and point str lowercase, and replace the 0, yung NaN na none, and then yung empty values gagawin natin siya ng none para mas maging reliable siya at mas maging accurate siya tignan. And sa nag-DF info tayo, and the DF is null para makita natin kung may pagbabago ba, or nakita nga natin na mas naging accurate, or mas naging reliable, or ready na siya to manipulate and analysis the data. And as you can see, mas goods na siya, mas okay na siya. Hindi na siya, wala na siyang inaccurate and unreliable, and mas okay na siya tignan. And yung sa test preparation scores, meron na siyang dating 996, naging 1,000 na siya. And yung for missing values ay na-fill na natin siya. And then sa sa baba is wala na nga talaga ang test preparation scores. So how to export and update the clean data? So you need din lang a df.2 underscore CSV, and you prepare nyo na ini-name nyo dito, ini-name lang namin siya ng clean student performance para mas maging maayos nga siya, and point the CSV, and then index is equal to false. And DF is equal to read underscore CSV, and then clean student performance. And DF point head, para nga, check natin dito if okay na siya, or wala na siyang error. And as you can see sa folder, nandito na napunta yung clean student performance. So, bago tayo mag-manipulate ng data, or before we dive into the data manipulation technique, let's take a quick 3 minutes break lang muna to recharge, stretch, and grab drink, or just rest your eyes for a bit. We'll resume shortly with the 11:12 para i-proceed na natin yung pagmamanipulate and analysis ng data. Thank you.
So, hello? Audible po ba ako? So, yun. So, I hope na nakapag-break na po ang lahat. So, let's start na po for the next data processing flow, which is analyzing the data. So, before po tayo mag-analyze ng data, let's first manipulate the data. So, here po, we have here the manipulated data. So, first po, i-read po natin yung clean student performance.csv. So, bakit nga po ba natin siya i-read muna? So, i-read po muna natin siya para hindi po ma-read ng ating notebook yung kaninang ginamit na row student performance.csv. So, yun po, i-read na po natin. So, yun po. So, mag-proceed na po tayo sa pag-manipulate ng data. So, yun po. So, sa pag-manipulate po ng data, mag-add po muna tayo ng mga columns para sa ating gagamitin later on na analyzation and visualization. So, yun po. Here po, we have add average score column. We use average score as column name. And yung mga math score, reading score, writing score, tapos kukunin po natin yung mean niya. Tapos dito po is access is equal to 1. Meaning po niya is row-wise operation. So, pag ni-read po natin siya, Ayan po. Makikita po natin dito na yung pa-row po yung pagkuha niya ng mean. Like dito po, 89, 72, 74, tapos yung mean niya po. So kung axis is equal to 0 po, magiging column-wise operation po siya. And yung pag-read niya po ng data is 89, 69, 90, 47, and 76 po. So mag-iiba po yung yung result niya po. So next naman po is yung add students pass or fail. Dito po, we use pass as column name and and yung condition niya po is yung average score is greater than or equal to 75. Tapos pag niread na po natin siya, yung magiging result niya po is pass kung pasado, ay true kung pasado, while false naman po kung fail po. Like here po, we have 78, true po siya. While sa dito naman po is yung average score is 49, false po siya. So next naman po is yung applying NumPy operation, which is broadcasting and basic ops. We use normalized as column name po. And yung condition niya po is average score is divided by 100. So yung magiging output po nito is zeros to ones po. While here naman po sa honor student na column name, and we use NumPy and Pandas po na NP where DF average score. Kukunin po natin yung average score kung greater than or equal to 90 po siya. Kung greater than or equal to 90, true po. While po pag hindi po siya greater than or equal to 90, magiging false po siya. So pag ni-read po natin, ayan. Dito po mag-create na po siya ng column name na normalized and honor student. So we use NumPy po para mas mapadali po yung code. Like here po, we have one line na lang po. Pag hindi po tayo nag-use ng NumPy, po siya, mas madami pa po yung code na gagamitin natin. Like, may if, else pa po siya. So, yun po. Before we proceed sa before we proceed to other manipulating ng data, let's first export the updated final manipulated data. So, we export it para ma-save po yung mga ginawa nating columns from add average score column to applying NumPy operations po. So, here, pag niran po natin to, automatically na po siya mag-create ng ng .csv niya po sa ating folder. Like, automatically na po siya mag-create ng final student performance.csv. So, yun po. Next naman po is yung pag-access natin ng columns and rows. First po is, i-read po muna natin yung final student performance.csv para ito po yung i-read ng ating notebook, hindi po yung ginamit kanina na clean student performance.csv. So, po, ni-read na po natin. Next naman po is yung pag-add natin ng column, tapos yung value niya po is none or NaNe or empty values. So, we use po na test column as column name, tapos empty none as empty values. So, pag nirun na po natin, ayan po, makikita po natin dito yung test column na column name and yung empty values na po na missing value po. While here po dito is fill the missing values with none. So, i-fill lang po natin yung test column na yung value na NONE po dito. Like, pwede po siyang gawin niyo pong 0 or others. Depende po sa ating dataset. Basta appropriate po siya sa ating dataset. So, pag niran po natin, ayan po, makikita po natin dito na palitan na yung missing values na sa test column na as NONE or none. So, yun po. The next naman po is sa pag-drop natin ng columns. We use df drop columns. Tapos we use pa rin po yung column name na test column. Tapos in place true po. So, kung gusto niyo pong may column name ay may variable name, lalagay lang po natin dito. Kunyari po, drop underscore column, tapos is equal to df drop columns, test column, hanggang dito lang po. So, tatanggalin na po natin itong in place true kung gusto niyo pong may variable name. Kung ayaw niyo naman pong may variable name, ito lang po yung gagawin natin na may in place true po. So, yung pag niran na po natin, at makikita na po natin dito na na-drop na po yung test column. Ayan po, wala na po. So, next naman po is yung pag-access natin ng columns and multiple columns tapos single column. We use here yung type po para makita natin kung ano po yung type niyan. Kung ano po yung type na variable name na math scores po.
So, kung series po siya, ano po siya, single column po siya, while pag data frames naman po yung result niya is magiging multiple columns po to, math score. So, pag niran po natin, ayun po, pandas.core.series, meaning po is single column po siya. So, isa-select na po natin itong single column na math score na po. Ito po yung result. Well, sa multiple columns naman po, we use variable name na student score summary is equal to DF math score, reading score, writing score, average score. Tapos, i-call po natin itong student score summary na variable name. Tapos, mapapakita na po dito kung ano yung mga columns na gusto nyo makita po. Pag niran po natin, ayan po, makikita na po natin yung math score, reading score, writing score, and average score. Next naman po is subsetting rows. We use basic subsetting na DF math score is greater than 90. Meaning po, yung mapapakita po lang po dito yung 90 and 91 and above. Depende po sa conditions niya. Like dito po, math score is greater than 90. So, 91 and above po yung makikita niyang math score. So, here po, we have, dito po sa math score, wala po siyang 90 below. So, next naman po is, sa multiple condition, we use pass all as variable name po, and yung mga conditions na po, like math score is greater than or equal to 75, and reading score as greater than or equal to 75, writing score greater than or equal to 75. So yun, we call na po yung pass all. So pag nira na po natin siya, makikita lang po dito yung mga math score, reading score, writing score na greater than or equal to 75. So, for example po, yung math score is 70, while reading score is 95, and writing score is 93. So, hindi na po siya makikita sa ating dataset. So, next naman po is a dot lock. So, wag po kayo makonfuse sa dot lock and dot elock. Dot lock is also known as local base. It is used to access rows and columns by labels po. So, here we have df.log. Tapos DF math score, ito pong DF math score 2 hanggang greater than 90. Ito po yung tinatawag na index ng rows. While the next na naman po is yung dito po is columns naman po yung access niya. So pag niran po natin, makikita po natin dito yung index ng math score is greater than to 90. Tapos yung columns niya po. So next naman po is the dot eloc. Eloc also known as integer local base. It is used to access rows and columns by positions naman po siya. So, integer lang po siya. So, dito po, df.eloc. Ito pong 0 colon 5. 0 means, 0 colon 5 is index, katulad lang po ng df.loc po. So, yung 0 means starting rows, while 5 naman po is ending rows naman po. While the 0, 3 naman, ito rin po yung columns. Meaning niya po ng 0 is starting columns, while sa 3 naman po is ending columns naman po. So, pag nira na po natin siya, ay po, makikita po natin dito yung starting and ending rows and columns po. So, next naman po is yung sort rows. We use sort as variable name. And yung condition na po is sort values. Tapos, kukunin po, isosort po natin yung math score into ascending is equal to false. So, dito po, bawal po tayo maglagay dito ng descending. So, ascending lang po siya. Kung gusto niyo po, highest to lowest, false po siya, ilalagay niyo dito. Kung gusto niyo naman lowest to highest, true naman po ilalagay niyo. So, pag niran po natin, ayun po, makikita po natin dito sa math score na highest to lowest po. So, yun po. Tapos na po tayo sa pag-manipulate ng data. Let's proceed naman po sa pag-analyze ng data. So, given by Ms. Raquel na requirements, ito po, yung first na requirements niya po is yung pag-clean ng dataset. So, ginagawa na po natin yun. So, i-read na lang po natin. Like here po, pd.read CSV, yung final student performance.csv, yung clean na dataset natin. Ayan po. So, next naman po yung requirements is descriptive as the statistic of the exam scores. So, here po, i-describe lang po natin yung ating exam scores na math score, reading score, writing score, tapos sa pamamagitan ng .describe. Tapos pag niran po natin, ayan po, makikita po natin dito sa count. Count also means po na 1,000 rows per column po. Like sa math score may 1,000 rows, sa reading score may 1,000 rows, sa writing score may 1,000 rows. Sa mean naman po is mean ng per subject po. Like here, sa math may 66.136 po. Well, sa STD naman po, standard deviation, well, sa minimum po, minimum na nakuha ng student grades. Like sa math score, may nakakuha ng 0 sa pinakamababang score, while reading score naman may nakuha na 17 and writing score 10 po. Sa 25% po, it also known as first quartile. Meaning po, ito po yung mga 25% and below po na nakakuha ng grades. While dito po, may 57 po. Dito sa reading score, may 59 naman po. And sa writing score naman, may 57 po. While 50% naman po, it is also known as median po. So, median po ng math score is 66. Sa reading score naman is 70, and so on. So, sa 75% naman po it is also known as third quartile naman po. Meaning po yung mga 25% and above na nakakuha ng mataas na grade. Like po here, where you have 77, 79, 79. So, sa maximum naman po is yung pinakamataas na nakuha ng grade per subject po. So, like here po sa math score, may nakuha ng 100. Sa reading score, may nakakuha ng 100. Sa writing score, may nakakuha ng 100. So, next naman po is identifying honor students by gender. So, we use honor students para makuha na variable name para makuha natin na kung yung average score niya is greater than or equal to 90. So, honor by gender na variable name para makuha natin yung honor student per gender naman po. Tapos sa pamamagitan ng value count. So, kung ilan yung honor student sa female, kung ilan yung honor student sa male naman po. So, pag niran po natin yung honor by gender. And kung makikita po natin na sa female, may naka-38 na honor student, while sa male naman po is may naka-14 na honor student. So, next naman po is the number of students who pass or fail by ethnicity po. So, we use past students and failed student as variable name po para makuha natin kung pasado ba or fail po yung student. While yung dito naman po, we use pa rin po yung dot value counts para makuha po natin yung kung sino yung pasa per ethnicity po. So, dito rin po, katulad lang po sa failed student, we use pa rin po yung dot value counts para makuha yung failed student sa by ethnicity po. So, yun. Like here po, sa past students, sa by ethnicity. Sa group C, may naka-94 na nakapasa. While sa group D, may 89 na nakapasa, and so on po. While sa failed students naman, by ethnicity, so sa group C, may naka-225 na fail po. Sa group D, may 173. Sa group B, 133, and so on po. So, sa next naman po is sa pag-analyze ng normalized average score of students based on their test preparation course. So, we use group by po para makuha natin yung mean ng test preparation course. So, pag niran po natin, makikita po natin dito sa completed na 0.72 or 73. Pag in-interpret po natin siya, is the more na makomplete ng students yung test preparation course, the more na papasa siya. Well, sana naman po may 0.65, meaning po nito is the more na hindi makomplete ng students yung test preparation course, the more na hindi siya makakapasa po. Well, next, lastly po is the correlation matrix of the three scores. Dito po, kinuha lang po natin yung math score, reading score, and writing score. Tapos, we use po that score para makita po natin yung correlation niya. So, pag niran po natin siya, ayan po. Makikita po natin dito yung correlation niya po. Like sa math score, tapos writing score, may 0.79 or 0.80 po siya. Meaning po, pag in-interpret po natin siya, may po siya. Students who do well in math score tends to do well also in writing score po. So, ayun po. So, overall po, may strong positive correlation po sila sa isa't isa. So, yun lamang po for data manipulation and analysis. Let's move on na po for visualization by Miss Syra po.
Ayan. Am I audible po ba? Yan. So, after going through NumPy and Pandas, we're going to proceed na po sa next topic. So, sa pag-read ng data, syempre mahirap siya basahin kung puro numbers or tables lang. So, dito na po papasok ang topic ng visualization with Matplotlib. So, ano nga ba ang Matplotlib? Ang Matplotlib is a powerful Python library that converts complicated raw data into a more clear and understandable na visuals. So, it's an open source, easy to use, and works seamlessly po with NumPy and Pandas. So, to get started po with Matplotlib, you first is to create an environment, activate it, and install the Matplotlib. Have you guys already installed it na po ba? Can you give me a react po? Yun. Thank you. So, to start po with Matplotlib, alamin po muna natin yung figure niya. So, ayan, anatomy of the Matplotlib. As you can see, the whole canvas is called figure. And inside it po is malolocate natin yung axis, which is dun pinaplot yung mga data. And inside it po din also is we can locate the X and Y axis, the titles, the X and Y labels, the ticks, tsaka yung spice, yung grid, yung lines, markers, and legend. And later on, may encounter po natin ito. So, ayan. With Matplotlib po, you can create line plot, bar chart, scatter plot, and histogram. But beyond that, Matplotlib also supports us to create a advanced, which is pie chart, 3D plots, heat maps, and animation. So, ayun, let's start po with line plot. A line plot or a line graph is kinoconnect po siya by straight lines. So, in line plot in data processing po allows us to detect patterns, monitor trends, and make predictions. So, here in our example po, as you can see, we import the Matplotlib as PLT. Then we set the data. We set the data, which is the X and Y. And with a simple plt.plot function, we can create a line. Then with this plt.title function, we can create the entire title for the entire figure. And with that plt.x label, plt.y label, we can simply create it label for X and Y axis. Then we enable the grid by making it true, and we use plt.function to display the output. So here's the output po. So of course, line plot po, Matplotlib allows us to customize our line plot to make it more understandable. So ayan, we can create the line by using this function as mentioned earlier, which is plt.plot. And with the color, you can adjust your desired color. You can adjust also the line grid and set the markers in each data point. So with the use of these symbols po, you can customize your markers po. Then moving on sa bar chart. By the word itself po, bar chart, so nagko-consist po siya ng rectangular bars. Then each height or length ng bar is nag-indicate ng value of that specific category. So here in the example po, katulad ng sa line plot, we set the data, and with the use of plt.bar function, and we can create the bar. So similar lang din po sa line plot, we have the title, labels, grid, and plt.show. Ayan, here's the vertical bar. So you can customize then also yung bar chart. So if you want to make it horizontal, just simply use plt.barh. So why use horizontal? So ginagamit po yung horizontal because if you want to visualize more data po. So pag horizontal siya, more readable. So we can adjust din po yung width ng bars, yung alignment ng bars, the color, and edge color para mas ma-emphasize yung bars na yun. And moving on sa scatter plot naman po. Scatter plot po shows relationship or correlation between two numeric variables po. So each point po is nagre-represent ng data point na according sa placement dun sa X and Y axis. So, ayun. Sorry for the technical difficulties po. Ayun. So, going back po is a scatter plot. Yun nga po, nagsishow po siya ng relationship or relationship. And each dot represents a data point po in X and Y axis. So, ayan. We set the data. And with the use po of VLT.scatter and with the use of markers po, we can create the scatter plot po. Ayan po. And we add the title, labels, and ayun po. And syempre, you can customize the scatter plot. Ayan, sa scatter plot din po, similar with the other plots po, we can adjust the color, and dito naman po, we can adjust the size. And ayun, similar lang din po sa line plot, we can put the markers, but dito sa scatter plot po is essential po gumamit tayo ng markers to indicate ng data points and to show the relationship of values po. And histogram naman po, ayun, histogram po nag-show po na siya ng frequency. And yung importance niya po sa data processing is to show the data, how the data po is distributed, reveals na pattern, trends, and helps to identify the outliers. So, it supports clear and informed decision making po. So, ayun, sa example po natin, similar lang din po, ayun, as mentioned, na paulit-ulit po ako nag-mention, is we set the data, and with the use of plt.hist, we can create a histogram. So, ayun, yung bins po is yung po yung numbers ng bars. And we can customize the histogram by color, edge color, and yung numbers ng video. As mentioned earlier po, yung bins is yung number po ng bars. And you can customize it according to sa requirements po sa analysis. So, ayun. So, may general customization. So, sa figure po, we can adjust the height and the width with the use of plt.figure function. And you can add plt.title to the entire figure and put labels sa X and Y axis and enable or disable the grid by and syempre sa ano po sa entire plot, you can adjust the transparency by using the alpha. And itong plt.legend naman po is dito po yung piniplace yung indicator ng dataset na yun. Later on, ayun. So, we nag-switch po ng account because due to technical difficulties po. So, ayun, as mentioned earlier po, so, ayun, ayun po na, as mentioned earlier po, we set the plt.legend and nag-indicate kung ano ba yung specific, okay, sorry, for the specific placement po nung dataset na yun. So, next is yung ayan po is lastly po is yung plt.layout function. Dito po is yung hindi niya pine-prevent niya po yung overlapping ng labels, titles, and yung axis. So, ayun, we can plot two datasets po. Ayan, for the line plot, scatter plot, bar charts, and histogram. So, if you want to explore po, please have a time po to know kung ano po ba yung how to plot two datasets. And going back po sa sample notebook, hold on. Um, Ayun po. Then, to know the normalized average po ng scores by test preparation course is we use line plot po. Ayan. So, we run. As you can see, the student 73 po. And the students who doesn't completed the test preparation course has 0.65. So, makikita po natin sa line plot, nakikita po natin sa line plot yung positive impact of having test preparation course. Then, to know the honor students by gender, we visualize it by bar chart. So, ayan. We categorize the gender by female and male. The female got 38 and the male got 14. So makikita natin agad kasi mas angat yung babae compared to male. Yung makikita natin yung female has has a high academic performance. Ayan. This suggests that a higher proportion of high achieving students in data sets are female. Ayun nga, as the interpretation. And similar din po sa students who pass and fail by ethnicity is we use a group bar chart. So ayan, as mentioned earlier po by Mikey, yung mga students who failed and passed. So ayan na po, may encounter na po natin yung legend. We set the status, gray for failed and green for passed. We categorize the ethnicity by groups A to E. So, sa group A, makikita po natin yung kakaunting pa-student na nakapasa na students, which is 19. And sa group C naman po, makikita natin yung pinakamataas na students na nakapasa at naka-failed. So, nakikita din natin sa group din na to yung pinakamataas na student population. And interestingly po, yung group E has perfect faster paced ratio. Pero like hindi naman siya like perfect, pero yung dami kasi ng students who pass and fail are closely na nagma-match. So ayun. We use a scatter plot po. So let's run. Ayan. Ayan. So, as the math scores increases, the reading score also increases. Pero makikita natin sa scatter plot na yung math versus writing. As the math score increases, the writing score also increases. So, dito sa part na to, moderate na siya, medyo compact na siya. But when it comes na po sa reading versus writing, makikita natin yung strong relationship as mentioned earlier ni Mikey. Kasi, as the reading score increases, the writing score also increases. So, meaning neto, yung students who have a high reading score also tends to have a high writing score po. So, bakit siya ganun? Kasi, yung scatter plot natin is compact. So, the more the data point is compact, the more the strong yung relationship. So, and kung yung scatter plot, kung ang data point naman is kalat-kalat, mas mababa po yung relationship nila or correlationship nila. So, moving on sa distribution ng exam scores, is we have the histogram po. Ayan, sa distribution of math scores naman, ano siya, slightly skewed siya kasi mas na-stretch yung tail niya sa left side. And minimum neto is maraming students ang nakapasa sa amin, which we have is 60 to 80. And sa distribution of reading scores naman po, which has the mean of 69.2, dito naman po natin is makikita natin yung distribution is symmetrical kasi ayan, nasa palagitnaan siya ng mean. So, saktong-sakto lang yung pagkaka-distribute niya and walang masyadong mahaba na tail sa left side. And sa distribution of writing scores naman po, has a right skewed or positively skewed na mean. So yung students po dito is what do you call this? Yung writing score is maraming student po yung mababa yung writing scores kasi konti lang yung high performers. And kaya siya slightly screwed sa right side. So we have, ayan po, has the mean of 68.1. Then, yung result and findings po, we clean the data, na satisfy natin yung descriptive statistics, yung honors, we graph the honor students by gender, we graph din yung pass and fail by ethnicity, we know yung test preparation score and normalized scores, and sa correlation matrix is, ayun, napakita natin kanina. So, in conclusion po, sa binigay na requirement analysis ni Annie, is we satisfy the requirements po, which is, we go through one by one po sa data process flow po. So, with the use of Matplotlib po, we applied it individually sa ating data. And going back po sa ating PowerPoint, ayan, here's the nice to know. You can visit this link po to palawakin yung learnings nyo, and I hope na ma-apply nyo po yung aming tinuro, and here's the references. And before we close this workshop po in data processing and visualization, remember this po. The ability to turn raw data into a meaningful insights is one of the most powerful skills in today's digital world. It's not just a code po. It's a way to uncover stories and it's a way to uncover stories in hidden numbers po. So, to formally close na po yung okay, ipapasok ko na po yung table kay Mr. Kit.
Hello, narinig ba ako? Okay. Okay, despite the unforeseen challenges, including the internet Wi-Fi disruption, we were able to successfully complete the task. And before we leave or lunch in these teams, let's take this opportunity to take a photo lang. Okay. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, next slide. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, thank you po. Okay, let's proceed na by what time? After lunch, balik po kayo here para sa pag-proceed na activity natin. Thank you.
Okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Advanced Python Workshop for Data Processing and Visualization. So before we formally start, once again, we would like to apologize for the unexpected technical difficulties we encountered earlier. So thank you for your patience and understanding. Now let's move on to the activity. So pwede nyo nang i-refresh yung G slides na nakalagay na yung activity natin doon. So, pag na-refresh nyo na, pwede na tayo mag-start sa activity. So, for this session, we will use an interactive Python notebook where we will apply all the data cleaning and visualization na na-discuss natin kanina. So, here are the requirements analysis that should be accomplished before submitting to our G Drive. So, using a markdown button, first and foremost, don't forget to add your title. You can use the hashtag symbol followed by a space and then yung title na given na. And then if you want to bold your text, use the 2 asterisks before and after your text. And kapag gusto niyo naman naka-italicize yung text nyo, you can just use 1 asterisk before and after your text. Pag gusto mo naman naka-bullet points, use the hyphen symbol. So, pwede nyo naman i-refresh yung Python notebook natin and nakalagay na dun yung details kung paano mag-use ng markdown. So, balik tayo sa requirements analysis. Dapat, provided na po yung dataset dyan, just use the raw_data.csv in answering the activity. Tapos, next is, i-rename natin yung columns using snake case format. Next is, we're going to clean the dataset by replacing missing values with others. And then, next is, gagawa tayo ng dummy column with a non-value and then i-drop natin yon. Tapos, after that, i-export natin yung clean dataset tapos i-rename natin as clean_data.csv. So, identify how many individuals sought mental health treatment grouped by gender and then visualize it using a bar graph. And then last is mag-provide kayo ng short insight based on dun sa graph. So, pwede nyo na i-access, after natin gumawa ng activity, pwede nyo na siya ilagay sa ating G Drive which is nasa ating G Slides. So, you can access yung repository na politic_activity na nasa G Slides as well and then i-clone nyo lang siya. That's it. And yun nga pala, one heads up lang na required po natin mag-open ng cam sa pagsagot ng ating activity. Thank you! Start na po yung time. Ay, tama na siya po.
Okay na? So, hello everyone! Nakapas na po ba kayo lahat? React po kung nakapag-pass na sa G-Drive. Any reactions po kung napas na po lahat? Check na natin. Wait. Hold on. Okay, Joshua. Wait. Ayun. Okay. 15. So, nakapag-pass na yung lahat. To wrap this up po, i-present po namin yung sagot namin. Thank you.
So, yun po. Rinig po ba ako? Rinig po?
Yes po.
So, done na po tayo. So, we'll provide naman po yung ginawa naming output for the activity naman po. So, reminder lang po na iba-iba po yung ginawa nating output. So, basta po masatisfy natin yung requirements, okay na po yun. So, here po, we have yung markdown na, na title na Week 3, Data Processing and Visualization po. So, dito naman po is yung name, scores, and date po na markdown pa rin po. So, we have here yung imports na given na po namin. I-install na lang po. So, yung next na requirements po yung pag-use ng raw data TSB natin. So, i-read po muna natin itong raw data set CSV. Ayan. So, dito naman po is, kung gusto niyo mapadali po yung para gusto niyo pong mapadali yung makita niyo yung mga column names na inappropriate, katulad po nito. Sa treatment, malaki yung T po. Tapos yung company size, puro caps lock po. Tapos gagawin po natin siyang na snake case format. So dito naman po sa pag-clean ng ating data na column name. Tapos dito naman po is yung mga columns. Tapos dito naman po yung sa pag-change natin ng missing numbers na nakalagay doon is any, walang values. Tapos i-change natin siya ng others po. So, dito naman po is yung pag-add natin ng dummy column. Tapos yung values na po is none or empty values. Dito naman po is yung pag-drop natin ng columns. And ito po yung pag-export po natin ng clean final data po. So, ayan po. Pag nilit po natin siya, exactly na po siyang So, ayun po yung ginawa naming output. So, here na lang po sa insights. And ito po yung visualization. Ayan. Sa insights po, based on the final visualization, more women are seeking mental health support, suggesting they may be more open to asking for help. While sa fewer men are doing so, and next naman po is to those in the others category also seek help, highlighting the need for inclusive, accessible support for all. So, balik na po tayo sa main. So, ayun lamang po for activity output po namin. So, pwede na po tayong bumalik. Rinig po. So, pwede na po tayong bumalik sa ating main na room